The movie begins in Brazil, specifically in the Amazon rainforest, where there is a girl named Ana sitting in a car with her friend Paulo. At that time, they have a map and are reviewing the route they will take, and we learn that they have to drive the car into the forest to reach the river, and then they will use a boat to escape. It appears that Paulo does not agree with what is happening and wants to go back, warning Ana that this forest resists anyone who enters it. However, Ana tells him that the mission is worth the risk because their lives will change for the better afterward. Suddenly, they hear knocking sounds on the roof of the car, so they get very tense and afraid that it might be a predator about to attack them, but it turns out to be a small monkey and there is no danger from it. After this incident, Paulo insists on not continuing, so Ana leaves him, gets out of the car, rides a motorcycle and leaves the area. At that moment, a man named Joe appears with his colleague, and as soon as Ana sees him, she flees. They run to their boat to chase her. Suddenly, a giant anaconda emerges from the water, grabs Joe's colleague, and drags him underwater. At this time, thousands of miles away in the state of California, there is a man named Doug who is enthusiastically telling a weird story about the jungle. But he doesn't finish his story because the couple who hired him to film them interrupts him. We learn here that Doug dreams of being a movie director, but he failed in his professional career and is currently working as a wedding videographer. He is frustrated because no one is convinced by his ideas at all. Meanwhile, in another place, we see a beginner actor named Griff. Even though Griff is going to play a small role, he is very excited and tells himself that this might be the moment he has been waiting for a long time. Afterward, he enters the filming set in the role of a nurse, but he makes mistakes multiple times during filming, so they fire him from the job. Griff walks away from the set feeling frustrated, and at that moment, he passes by a row of billboards. His attention is caught by one featuring an ad for a movie from the 90s, and this movie is about a giant snake called the Anaconda. At this moment, he receives a voice message from Doug, and we learn here that they have been friends since childhood. Doug tells Griff that he met his mother and learned from her that he will be acting in a new movie. He supports him and tells him that he is proud of him. Here, Griff refuses to tell him that he got fired from his job. At the same time, Doug continues typing on his laptop until his boss walks in and interrupts him, telling him he knows that shooting weddings wasn't his true dream, but he pressures him to think about the future. He informs him that he will be retiring soon and that Doug will be the one responsible for the place after him, asking him to focus on his job and forget about the cinema thing. Doug stays silent and doesn't reply to him. Afterward, we see Doug returning home with his wife, Molly. As soon as he arrives home, he is surprised that Molly and his son Charlie have prepared a surprise for him. They have gathered all their friends and neighbors to celebrate his birthday. At that time, Doug meets his friend Kenny and gives him a basket of personal care products as a birthday gift. Doug also meets his friend Claire and is very happy. The joy is complete when he finds Griff in front of him, and Doug is at the peak of happiness when he reunites with his childhood friends. On this occasion, Griff shows a video they shot together when they were young, and this video was directed by Doug. In this video, Doug and his friends are pretending to defeat a scary monster, and it shows that they are all enjoying their memories together. The next day, Doug and his friends meet at a restaurant and keep talking together about their memories with the movie Anaconda, and it becomes clear that this was their favorite movie. Here, Griff tells them that he met the widow of the original author of the movie and bought the intellectual property rights to the movie's story from her. He suggests that they participate in the new version of the movie that will be filmed in the Amazon rainforest. He says that he and Claire will act, Kenny will film, and Doug will direct it. The idea appeals to everyone except Doug, who talks to Griff in private and explains to him that he is responsible for a family and is torn between his stable job and the dream he grew up with since childhood. But Griff tries to snap him out of it and bring him back to his senses, reminding him that they all dream of being famous actors. Doug returns home still confused and afraid, But when he tells his wife about the movie, she gets very excited and encourages him to direct the movie and achieve his dream. Doug is convinced by her words, gets into his car, goes to Griff, and tells him that he agrees. That same night, Doug writes the first draft of the new script. The following day, he meets his friends and tells them they will need about $2 million to finish the movie, and this budget includes a 3-week trip to Brazil, renting the boat, and renting the filming equipment. He informs them that they will rent a real snake so the filming can be realistic. They rush to the bank to get a loan to produce the movie with, but the bank only allows them a small loan. After that, Doug recalculates and brings the budget down to just $43,000. When his friends review the final script, they like it. The next day, Doug prepares to travel with his friends to Brazil, and at that time, his son gives him a small statue resembling an Oscar award, wishing him that the movie succeeds and actually wins this award. After that, Doug and his friends travel to Brazil. As soon as they arrive, Doug says that he had been reading about the anaconda throughout the trip, explaining how these snakes hunt their prey in complete silence, standing perfectly still until their prey gets close, and then they attack quickly, wrap around it, and crush it to death without giving it a chance to escape. At this moment, Carlos, the snake dealer they made a deal with, appears and tells a terrifying story about a woman who fell victim to anaconda snakes, telling them that this woman was his grandmother. Then Carlos starts telling the story of the snake he will rent to them, saying he saved this snake from a river polluted with a toxic substance due to illegal mining operations happening in the forest. He lets them know that this is a huge and ongoing problem in the area because many people dig in the forest searching for gold, which harms a large number of anacondas. He assures them that the snake with them is peaceful and does not harm humans. Nevertheless, he still warns them, telling them they must be careful during their trip inside the forest because they might encounter different species of wild anacondas that live there, adding that their sizes are massive and they could finish them off in seconds. At the same time, Anna hides inside a restaurant near the port because Joe is looking for her. She then sees an unconscious, drunk man next to her, so she steals his boat keys to escape with it. As soon as she reaches the boat, she discovers it's the exact same boat that Doug and his friends are going to use. She lies to them, saying she is the boat owner's daughter, explaining that her father suddenly got sick and won't be able to go on the trip with them, and telling them she must take the boat immediately. Doug gets nervous and tries to convince her to come along with them, explaining that they are shooting a new version of the movie Anaconda and they have no other options because all the boats are fully booked. At this moment, Anna notices Joe looking for her, so she agrees to Doug's proposal, gets inside the boat, starts it, and moves quickly down the river. Meanwhile, Joe goes to the security guard in charge of the port and asks him for a log of all the boats that left the area in the past few hours, showing that he is determined to find Anna at any cost. That night, Doug and his friends have dinner together on the boat and are excited to shoot the movie. The next day, Griff and Claire begin acting out the first scene of the movie. We learn that Claire plays the role of a biologist who hires a snake catcher to get revenge on the anaconda that wiped out her entire family, and the one playing this catcher is Griff. With Carlos's help, Kenny is able to film the anaconda as it watches its prey in complete silence. As filming continues, an old spark of love begins to reappear between Griff and Claire, and we learn that they used to love each other in the past but separated because of the nature of their careers. When it's time for dinner, the team starts discussing the action scenes they are yet to shoot, and then they all go to their rooms to sleep. However, the snake they have quietly slithers inside the boat until it enters Griff's room and stops right in front of him. Griff wakes up from his sleep and screams out of sheer terror the moment he sees the snake in front of him. Everyone on the boat wakes up to the sound of Griff's voice, and they blame Carlos for not keeping an eye on the snake. Carlos reassures them, telling them the snake won't leave the box again. The following day, everyone prepares to shoot the most dangerous scenes of the movie. At that time, Carlos holds the snake and gets close to Griff. At first, Griff is hesitant to shoot the scene, so Doug reminds him that this is a very important moment in the story. Griff is convinced by his words and goes back to finish filming. But as soon as the snake opens its mouth, Griff gets terrified and throws it into the river. The snake lands on the boat's engine and gets shredded into pieces. Carlos is shocked and saddened by the death of the snake. At night, Carlos holds a funeral for the dead snake. At the exact same time, one of Joe's men manages to reach their location and spies on them. But before he has the chance to report them, a giant anaconda emerges from the river and swallows him. Meanwhile, on the boat, Griff goes to sit with Carlos to offer his condolences for the snake's death and apologizes to him because he is the reason it died. Carlos accepts his apology, so Griff tells him he was hoping the new movie would succeed because he was tired of failure in his life. Carlos is moved by Griff's words and decides to go into the jungle to hunt another snake and help Griff and his colleagues finish the movie. Griff is happy with this news and decides to go with Carlos into the forest. Once there, they walk into a water pool and keep walking through it. However, Griff gets scared of the surroundings and asks Carlos to return to the boat. But Carlos ignores him and continues on his way, so Griff decides to leave Carlos and walk away. Carlos keeps searching for a snake to catch, and suddenly the anaconda appears, wraps itself around his body, and drags him underwater. When Griff returns to the boat, he informs Doug that Carlos got lost in the forest. Doug reassures him, saying Carlos is a local, knows the forest well, and will surely know how to get back. But more than an hour passes and Carlos doesn't return, so Doug and the others decide to go look for him, taking Anna with them. When they reach the forest, they find an abandoned car, so they get in it to look for Carlos faster. Suddenly, the anaconda throws Carlos's corpse onto the car, then appears in front of them with its massive size and terrifying shape, before disappearing into the forest. They all panic and try to escape in the car, but the car's battery is dead, so Doug has to get out of the car to fix it. He quietly opens the car hood so as not to make a sound and have the anaconda hear him. He actually succeeds and connects the battery cables, but the anaconda suddenly appears and attacks him. Fortunately, he manages to escape from it, jumps into the car quickly, and Griff drives the car at top speed to get away. At this point, Joe's men spot them and chase them on motorcycles. They suggest stopping and asking them for help, but Anna refuses, telling them they are a gang mining for gold and might kill them. Then she finds a sniper rifle inside the car, uses it, and finishes off all of Joe's men. As soon as they reach the boat, they find Joe, who points a gun at them and asks them about Anna. They look behind them and are surprised that she has disappeared. Suddenly, Anna appears from behind Joe, hits him hard, and he loses consciousness. As soon as they board the boat, they move it quickly. Anna then tells them she can get them out of the forest and also take them to the nearest airport so they can return to their country, but they will have to travel by boat for 23 straight hours until they reach the airport. It appears Griff disagrees and wants to finish the movie, but Doug points out that the anaconda could finish them all off. When they all go to their rooms to sleep, Doug sees the gift from his son Charlie, gets inspired, and decides to finish filming. The next morning, he surprises his friends with a new script he created, after adding Anna's character to the movie's story, because he is going to talk in the movie about the gang extracting gold. The idea appeals to his friends, and they begin filming. However, Griff and Claire are shocked when they find Doug so obsessed with shooting Anna's scenes to the point that he gives them a day off until he finishes shooting with her. At night, Griff sits with Claire and tells her about his frustration due to failing at his job, saying he wished he was as successful in life as she is. Claire tells him with complete honesty that her personal life is a huge mess. And it becomes apparent then that they still love each other. The next day, Griff confronts Doug about his excessive interest in Anna, and while they are fighting, they see a massive production ship full of Hollywood stars passing by them. When Doug asks the production crew, he learns they are shooting a new remake of the movie Anaconda. They are all shocked and ask Griff if he actually bought the story from the author's widow. Griff confesses that he lied to them, doing so in an attempt to make their dreams come true. But Doug gets furious and kicks Griff off the boat. Afterward, Griff goes to pack his things and prepares the small boat to leave. Claire follows him and tries to convince him not to leave, but to no avail. She asks him where he is going with this boat, and he tells her he is going to the ship filming the movie so he can return with them to America. After some time, Griff is shocked to find the ship destroyed, and he sees a woman on the riverbank screaming and asking for help. He reassures her and tells her he will take her with him in the boat, but the Anaconda suddenly appears and attacks her. Griff is terrified and turns the boat around to go back to his friends. Meanwhile, Doug explains to Claire that Anna found a new location to continue filming, but Claire is worried about Griff and asks Doug to go after him because she is certain his life is in danger. Suddenly, they find Anna pointing a gun at them, forcing them to get off the boat and go to a specific place. There, they discover that she works in gold mining, and she tells them to carry the bags filled with gold and take them back to the boat. Suddenly, Joe appears and threatens Anna to drop the weapon. We learn here that Joe is a police officer trying to protect the forest's resources from smugglers like Anna. Amidst what is happening, Griff appears from between the trees, aims the gun at Joe, and shoots him in the leg. As soon as he reaches the boat, he is shocked to learn from his colleagues that Joe is a police officer. Here, Anna points her gun at Doug and his friends. Joe tries to stop her, but she kills him without hesitation. Afterward, Anna prepares to finish them all off. Claire talks to her and begs her to let them go, but it's useless. Suddenly, Claire attacks Anna and takes the gun from her. In this moment, the Anaconda emerges from the water and drags Anna deep into the river. After what happened, they all run fast to reach the boat, but the Anaconda appears again, swallows Doug, and disappears among the trees. All his friends are in shock at what happened to their colleague, and they have no other choice but to return to the boat. As they are walking, Griff feels guilty because he is the one who made them come to the jungle, but Claire calms him down, tells him it's not his fault, reminds him they all chose to shoot the movie, and lets him know they must get back to the boat quickly. Griff is convinced by her words, and they continue on their way. Suddenly, they find Doug's body lying on the ground, and next to it is the carcass of a small pig. They pin Doug's body to the ground and place the pig on top of it, in order to use them as bait to distract the Anaconda away from them. After that, they stand among the plants and watch what will happen. Suddenly, they discover that Doug is alive and didn't actually die. They are all overjoyed and can hardly believe what is happening, but their joy disappears when they see the Anaconda getting closer to Doug. They yell at him to run away quickly. As soon as Doug realizes the Anaconda is behind him, he takes off running, absolutely terrified. Fortunately, the Anaconda attacks the pig on top of Doug's head and swallows it, which gives Doug a chance to escape from it. He joins his colleagues, and they all flee the area quickly. At night, they reach the filming set of the big company producing the remake of the movie, but the set is completely destroyed. At that moment, Griff finds a walkie-talkie, picks it up, and tries to call for help. Someone answers him and tells him the Anaconda is right behind them. They are all terrified when they see the Anaconda is indeed behind them, getting ready to attack. But at the last second, an unknown person appears and shoots at it until it flees the area. It turns out this person is Ice Cube, the famous actor who starred in the version of the movie made in the 90s. Naturally, Doug and the others are amazed when they see him, but he quickly takes them to a safe place to hide. There, he explains to them that this entire area is rigged with cameras and explosives, but the Anaconda destroyed the control panels. He tells them he has to go look for Jennifer Lopez because she is missing, and he gives them a flare gun to use to defend themselves. But before he leaves, they beg him to take a selfie with them. He agrees, takes a picture with them, and then leaves. At this moment, Doug and Griff prepare to kill the Anaconda, and at the same time, they decide to use the situation to their advantage. They come up with a plan to use the fireworks on the set. Meanwhile, Kenny and Claire turn on all the spotlights and cameras that are still working. This way, They will shoot the final scene of the movie, but in a 100% real atmosphere. Doug and Griff get ready with the car to lure the Anaconda to the explosion zone. Griff then screams to attract the Anaconda's attention, and indeed the Anaconda appears and chases them. But Doug floors the gas pedal at top speed and escapes in the car. When they reach the blast zone, they detonate the bombs, but unfortunately, the bombs don't affect the Anaconda at all. Griff then gets close to it, holding the flare gun, aims at a nearby gas cylinder next to the Anaconda and blows it up. A massive explosion occurs that completely obliterates the Anaconda, but its head is still moving. Doug attacks it and stabs it with the statue he received as a gift from his son. Finally, Doug and his friends end this annoying nightmare. After a while, the movie is shown at a film festival, and Doug and his friends receive the appreciation they dreamed of. What's more, Jennifer Lopez herself visits Doug at his house, tells him she is very impressed with the movie he directed, and offers him to direct the next installment of the franchise. Doug is shocked by the news and faints from joy. We go to the jungle and see Carlos waking up from his coma, happy to discover he is still alive. The movie ends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.